Have you ever wondered or asked yourself, what's my purpose in life? Over 6 immersive days at Date with Destiny, Tony Robbins can help you find that answer, providing you tools to reshape your destiny and design the life of your dreams. Date with Destiny is Tony's favorite event, and it's the one you might have seen in that Netflix documentary, I Am Not Your Guru. Here's what happens, though, over those 6 days. You start out by gaining a deep understanding of what truly motivates you. Then you identify the triggers that create pain and pleasure in your life, and learn the strategies to eliminate pain for good. Finally, you'll learn how to ignite or reignite your passion to achieve your ultimate vision of your life, career, finances, health, and relationships. As Tony says, it is in your moments of decision that your destiny is shaped. This is your chance to make the ultimate breakthrough and to start living the life you desire and deserve. To learn more about Date with Destiny, visit www.tonyrobbins.com/destiny. Take a moment and think about your childhood, your relationship with your parents. Whose love did you crave most, your mother's or your father's? And in order to get their love, what kind of person did you have to become? Who did you feel like you had to be for that person to love you? For instance, in order to get your father's approval and love, did you feel like you had to succeed at everything you did? Be the strongest, the fastest, the smartest? When you answer this question, you not only understand, in part, how your identity is shaped, you'll start to see just why you do the things you do. You'll learn why you are the way you are now, the patterns you fall into, the standards you hold for yourself will all start to make sense. Because underneath all of this live 6 fundamental human needs that you are constantly striving to meet. Welcome back to the Real Breakthrough series on the Tony Robbins podcast. I'm Anna Jorg, editorial director of Robbins Research International. In this episode, we're taking you back to Date with Destiny, where Tony is helping Akila overcome the subconscious boundaries that are holding her back from the life that she desires. Tony begins by asking her the critical question: whose love did you crave most as a child? Because every single one of us has developed a model of the world based on the source of love we craved most growing up. This is what influences the way we think and the way we act. This is what impacts the way we filter information. And this is what forms the entire way in which we experience the world. Tony shows us that we all create certain rule structures to support our needs. And he shows us that by uncovering our top 2 needs, we can begin to gain more perspective on our lives. Because when we're able to take a more objective, enlightened look at ourselves, we're able to find the way to break through and break free from whatever is holding us back.
So where am I? Accept myself.
Yes.
That is the ultimate thing.
How would you know if you had accepted yourself?
I think that it's really on the inside of me. A lot what's going on is on the inside, because on the outside, I look like I'm happy. I look like, it's all good.
Yeah.
I just want...
Convincing us all, aren't you?
I would know when I think that I'll just be doing everything that I desire to do without having to worry about what someone else is thinking about. I mean, I'll probably be making better progress, moving quicker, making things happen that I desire to happen quicker.
What's preventing that from happening now?
The belief of what everyone has, not everyone, but what my mom and dad has.
Now we're into the real piece. So you just set me up where I wanted to go. So there's a question I want to ask her, and you, the rest of you, should not, under any circumstances, when I'm talking to someone else and asking them questions, you should not be asking yourself that question. Please, try not to think of the color blue. Don't think of the color blue. Whatever you do, don't think of the color blue. What's the color you think you have? Good. Question: whose love did you crave most growing up, your mother or your father? I'm sure you love them both, but whose love did you crave more?
I think I craved my mom's love more.
Yes, clearly. Question: who did you have to be for your mom? First gut reaction, don't think, just tell me. You had to be...
Perfect.
Perfect. So kind of hard to accept yourself when the standard is perfect. By the way, perfection is the lowest standard a person can have. Why? because it's a false standard. It doesn't exist. Whenever you get to what you thought perfect is, you'll discover something else, won't you? So when your standard is perfect, what it really is just a way to beat yourself up for not being enough, and it becomes a pattern. And many of you have been with me before, and you know there are 6 human what? And if you've not, I'm telling you, there are 6 human needs. And we've spent a lot of time at the UPW walking through those. They're not desires. Everyone has different desires, different goals. We have certain needs. When we meet those needs, we feel fulfilled. When we think those needs are being threatened, we kind of freak out. And let's remind ourselves what those needs are. Need number 1 is the need for certainty. We all have a need for certainty. Certainty that we can survive. Certainty we can avoid pain and ideally have some what? Pleasure or comfort. So it's certainty we can be comfortable. And it's a survival instinct because if you're not certain that you can be comfortable, if there's constant pain equals damage, constant damage eventually equals death. So certainty is kind of a survival instinct and we all have it. And the only difference in people is not whether you have these 6 needs, we all have the same 6 needs. What you're gonna see of the next few days in yourself and in others is how the order of those 6 is controlling your whole destiny. So if certainty is the most important thing to you in life, you put it the highest of the 6, another one, by the way, not in order, is love. If I have to have certainty more than love, then it's hard for me to really let love flow unless I'm certain. And for things to be certain, it has to stay the same, and life is never the same. It's always what? Do relationships change, yes or no? Do the people we're in relationships change, yes or no? And we get pissed about that, like, you changed. I hope so. If you don't change, if you don't grow, you what? So think about it. So certainty. Some people get certainty, they make it number 1. People's certainty is number 6. It'll completely change your life, what order they're in. Second difference besides the order is we all have a different map, a different model of the world, a different rule book on what it takes to be certain. Some people, to be certain, everything has to go a certain way or they freak out. Some people, to be certain, you have to arrive at the time you said. Now, some people don't value certainty so much, they value variety. So a certainty person will often be upset if someone's like a minute late because they think late is 5 minutes before the time. Some people's rules, their map is, variety's more important, and I was involved with something that's cool, and I'm coming, and I'm on time when I get there. Would this create a conflict between people, yes or no? They're valuing one need more than another, and they have different rules. Whenever you're upset with someone, you're not upset with them, you're upset with their rules. Whenever you're upset with yourself, you're upset that you're not meeting your own rules, and many of us have rules that are inhuman, like perfection, which would make it impossible for you to feel that good about yourself. What's the second human need? By the way, if you're totally certain every moment, every day, every hour, you know what's gonna happen, when it's gonna happen, how it's gonna happen, before it happens, it would be so cool for a while. But after a while of knowing what's gonna happen, when it's gonna happen, what he's gonna say, what she's gonna say, what they're gonna do, every moment, what would you start to feel? Shout it out, what? Bored out of your mind. So God, in her infinite wisdom, gave us a second need called uncertainty. Or another word for it is variety or surprise. Who loves surprises here? Say I. You want the surprises you want. The surprises you don't want, you call problems. But we need them to feel alive. Now, by the way, do some people value surprise more than certainty? Yes or no? Do some people value certainty more than surprise? They love surprises, but only the ones they're certain about. You follow me? And different people need different things to have variety. Some people, variety comes from a conversation. Some people, variety, they have to start 4 new companies. Some people's idea of variety is having a big problem. Some people's idea of variety is going to a movie. So we all have different ways, and what we're gonna map here together, the reason you're gonna understand and control your life is we're gonna actually uncover the invisible map that's controlling all your decisions, and part of it is which needs are at the top. The top 2 needs are what we call the driving force of your life. They tell me the direction you're going. No matter what you wanna do, you're gonna go in that direction. If it's certainty, you're going in this direction. If it's uncertainty, you're literally going the opposite direction. And direction determines ultimate destination or destiny. If you just changed one of your needs while you're here and that's all you did, it would change everything in your life. With a giant processional effect, meaning if I throw the stone in the water, it doesn't stop when I hit it. It has that ripple effect on your whole life. So part of what we want to do is uncover. But also we got to uncover what are the rules to meet it. Because some of you have rules that are impossible to meet, and so you beat yourself up or you get angry or frustrated with yourself or other people because the rules just don't make any sense. You've set up the game where it's not winnable, and the unfortunate part is this is invisible. Because most of us are not conscious of the rules that control our lives. Because we didn't sit down, most of us, and design them, but we're gonna do that this week. First, we're gonna uncover them, see what's great, keep it, what's not, eject it, and then create what's really work, and then install it in our bodies so it's not a mental game, so that we literally, physically respond in a new way. So we're free. So second one is variety. By the way, can you get certainty in a negative way? You could get certainty and comfort by doing drugs. Take it, you know with certainty that you're gonna gel out. You get certainty by being angry. And who's ever gotten really pissed off and you kind of liked it? Why? Because it met your need for certainty. You're feeling uncertain, you get mad, suddenly in that moment you feel a surge of certainty. And here's what you need to know. People will violate their own values to meet their needs. How many of you in this room consider yourself to be a very honest person? If you really believe that's you, raise your hand and say, I. Okay? How many of you raised your hand, lie? Let me see your hands. What the f is going on here? You will lie if you believe telling the truth. Even though your standards tell the truth, you will lie if you believe telling the truth will cost you one of your highest needs. Love, certainty, whatever's at your top, variety. And you'll beat yourself up about it because it's your values, not somebody else's. But people will violate their values to meet their needs. That's how powerful these needs are. That's why we've got to uncover them and the rule structures we have and decide, does this work or should we shift this? And then once we're done, it goes back into invisible and we got a new guide inside of us. We don't have to navigate this constantly, okay? So part of what I'm asking is I'm digging to find out her model of the world, what she thinks life's about, and I'm telling you where you all got it. We all got it from the source of love we crave the most. That's where it started. It may have been refined since then. And when we say got it, we either got it from them or we rejected it. Some of you did the opposite because you didn't feel you could succeed, or you felt hurt, or you felt that love was not delivered to you. Even if you don't have a parent, they weren't there, you still had someone who raised you, and if anyone told you about the parent, you have in your head what you thought you should be for them. We all adapt. We adapt so that the source of love teaches us how we have to be unconsciously in order to be significant and loved by them. Even if we're wrong, we perceive it a certain way. How many follow? So you can get certainty, you can get uncertainty in good ways or neutral ways or positive ways. Some people get certainty by their faith. I just know I'm guided. So they don't have any uncertainty, they just trust. Some people get certainty by doing the same shit over and over and over again, and they get a routine and that gives them certainty, right? Some people get certainty by doing drugs. They get comfortable and they just do it all the time. They're always drugging themselves because the drug only works while it's in your body, so you gotta keep doing it. And some people's drug is food. Some people's drug is alcohol. Some people's drug is prescription drugs. In fact, the biggest drug on the planet is not heroin, it's not alcohol, it's not cocaine, it's problems. People are addicted to their problems, and while we're here, you gotta notice where you're addicted to your problem. And the reason we're addicted to our problems is everybody's afraid of two things, two primary fears. Do you remember what they are? Number one, that we're not enough. Not pretty enough, handsome enough, smart enough, young enough, old enough, mature enough, rich enough, funny enough, something enough. Who's ever felt like you weren't enough, especially as someone that mattered? Say I. And the deep fear behind if I'm not enough is the deeper fear that if not enough, I won't be loved. And love is the oxygen of the soul. When you're a baby and you're born, guess what? We all survive because someone loved us. Even if you think you weren't loved, it's someone put your needs ahead of theirs or you wouldn't be here. Now that doesn't last forever. One day the internal drugs that makes that mother love that child. Have you ever seen a mother that thought their child was ugly, their baby? The kid's got no teeth, he's drooling, he's all over the place, one hair, the prettiest thing I've ever seen in my life. Why? Because women when they're pregnant and when they have their child are drugged by natural drugs called oxytocin. Oxytocin makes that mother love that child even though he looks like a lizard. Fathers go, it's a lizard. Mothers go, well, that's the most beautiful child in the world. Men get oxytocin too, but they get about 1/8 the amount. So a man can leave. A healthy woman, biochemically healthy, can't leave that child. So we all were born with unconditional love, and then one day we learn we do the same things we used to do. What'd you have to do to be loved when you were a child? What'd you have to do as a baby? What'd you have to do? What? What? Nothing, not a squat. And it's so cool. You scream, you yell, you throw your food, you shit all over the place, you're still loved. Try that when you're 40, see if that works. Right? But then what happens? One day the oxytocin wears off. And that's a scary day. That's when fear entered your body. And when that happened, you freaked out, tried to figure out, what do I gotta do? And you gradually learn from the greatest source of love what you had to do or how you had to be. When you're born, you're this wide open. What can you be? Anything. And gradually you learn, I gotta be certain ways in order to get that survival thing called love, or at least significance. Because if I don't, I won't survive. And unfortunately, that early pattern ends up being the same pattern most people run in at 50 or 60 or 70 or 80 years old, unless you wake up. So, need-wise, certainty, uncertainty. What's the third human need, real quick? Do you guys remember? What is it? What is it? Significance, the need to feel special, the need to feel unique, the need to feel important. Who has the need in this room to feel special, unique, or important? Raise your hand. In fact, who else has that need? Who? What about the person that says, I don't want to feel special, I don't need that? Thou protest too much. Some people get that sense of significance by dressing special ways. Some people get that significance by creating huge problems so people have to notice them. If you don't give people significance for doing good things, will a child do bad things to get your attention? Adults are still big children emotionally. You can get significance by doing something really special. You can get significance by doing something really horrific. Is it true? So you can get significance many ways. Some people get significance by knowing box scores. Some people get significance by having a special way of being, a dialect, learning languages. Some people by being a musician. Some people by coarse language. There's so many ways to be unique. Some by having earrings in locations you don't even want to know. Or a number of them more than anybody else. There's so many ways to be significant. Some neutral, some positive, some negative. But everyone's gonna find a way. And by the way, some people do it with money. Some people are having no money. I'm significant because I don't have any money because I'm not like you. I'm not caught into that world. People do it all kinds of ways. There's a million ways because you can decide what significant is. It's just a way to try to be unique. And we all need it. What's the fourth human need? Real quick, what is it? Connection and love. Most people settle for connection because love is too scary for most people. Because what if love goes away? Most of us had this moment of love and it was so euphoric, and if it ended, it's so painful. Many people then have a little bridge here, like they want love, but they'll settle for connection because if the connection goes away, it doesn't hurt so bad as if the love went away. Who knows what I'm talking about here, right? And there's lots of ways to get connection. You can get connection by a walk in nature. You can get connection by a conversation with a friend. You can get connection and love through physical intimacy, sensuality, sexuality. You can get that connection by prayer. If nothing else, get a dog. You'll feel connection. Dogs, they don't give a shit who you are. They'll love your ass. It's amazing. You leave for like 5 minutes, it's been on like it's been 6 months you've been gone. Don't get a cat. Cats are independent. They'll leave and get a dog if you're really needing connection. Is it true? Some people get connection by having big problems because how could you not pay attention to me? How could you not care for me? You must be a horrible person. Most people succeeding puts them at risk because we love people succeed at first and then after a while they annoy the shit out of us. Because we often compare ourselves and say, well, they're doing this, so I'm not. So instead of fixing me, there must be something wrong with you. So most people, the safest way to get connection is not succeed, it's have a problem. That's why problems are the biggest addiction. They give us an excuse to say, it's not that I'm not enough and I'm not worthy of love, it's just that I have this ADHD. It's just that I had this past. It's just that I didn't educate. It's just that I was abused. And by the way, the story they may tell is true. They may have ADHD, they may have been abused, but that's not why they are where they are right now. That's the story they use so they can not face their fear. So the first basic needs, certainty, uncertainty or variety, significance and love, just so everybody remembers. Those are the basic needs. Who's gonna find a way to meet those needs? Every human you meet will find a way, even if they have to lie, cheat, work 20-hour days, or even lie to themselves. Do drugs, alcohol, work 20-hour days, it doesn't matter, they'll find a way. We all find a way. The only difference is on a scale from 0 to 10, how much do you get? Is it like a 5 of certainty or a 10? And is it getting it in a way that's sustainable or just obtainable? If I said lose 50 pounds by tomorrow morning, Gary, and I have $50 million I'm putting over here in an escrow account for you, we're gonna weigh you now, 24 hours later, if you lost 50 pounds, you got 50 million. Can you do it? Can you do it? He's wanting to do it. Of course you can do it. Cut off a couple legs and arm, we can get you there, there's no question about it. The goal is obtainable, but it is not what? Sustainable. Most of us meet our needs in ways that are obtainable, but not sustainable. That's what you're doing right now, not this moment in your life. And so it makes us feel fear because we can do it for the moment. It's like sugar. You get the feeling for the moment, but it doesn't last. Right? How many follow? Say I. The first 4 needs are basic needs. Everybody finds a way to meet them at 4s and 5s, or maybe 10s in negative ways where it doesn't last. What we want to do is find better ways to meet our needs. But the ultimate 2 needs are the spiritual needs, and they are number 5, you must what? Grow. And number 6, you must contribute beyond your self-contribution. If we don't grow, we die. If you want to know what makes people happy, I'll give it to you in one word. Millions of people, 100+ countries I've worked in, every culture on earth, I can tell you what creates happiness. Progress equals happiness. Progress. If you don't even get your goal, but you're making progress, you're gonna be excited. If you're overweight and you start to work out and you start to feel different, you're gonna be excited. If your relationship's great, but you tackle it, start to make some progress, you're gonna be excited. If your finances aren't there, but you start to make progress, you're gonna be excited. And when you achieve the goal, you'll only feel good for a short time. Because the purpose of a goal is not to get it. The purpose of a goal is so that we become something more. That's the whole goal. And if we get our goal in a way that doesn't make us more, we feel really unfulfilled. That's why one goal's done, you go after the other, because it's not the goal, it's the progress, it's the growth. And the reason contribution's so important is, think about this. When you've been really excited about something, what's the first thing you want to do when something great happens? What's the first thing you want to tell me quick? How many want to share it with somebody you care about, right? Why? Because when you share it, it magnifies. You can only feel so much yourself. So growth and contribution are the ultimate spiritual goals. They're what fulfill us. The first 4 will keep us alive and okay. Everybody meets the first 4. The only question is, are you doing it in a way that's obtainable or sustainable? And the real question is, which of these 6 are the top 2 for you?
The Tony Robbins podcast is directed and hosted by Tony Robbins. Anna York is our editorial director and occasional host. Our executive producer is Carrie Song. Jamie Carvajal and Adriel De La Torre are our digital editors. Special thanks to Mary Buckheit and Diane Adcock for their creative review.